See, among non-cardates, phylum Cnidaria, which is also known as Coelenterata, is one of the popular phyla, and animals belonging to this phylum, they have coelenteron, that is a gastric cavity in their inner portion, and we can see the salient features of the animals of this phylum. Some of the animals which belong to this phylum are shown in this figure. First one is Hydra. It is only a freshwater coelenterate, and rest of the animals which are shown here are marine animals. So one can say that majority of animals of this phylum belong to marine conditions. They are found in high salinity areas. This Hydra, you can see here, its anterior portion is on the upper side. Here, centrally located mouth is there, and then you can see these are tentacles which are radiating on the upper portion, and then this one is posterior part of the animal, which may get attached with substratum, and the other one is Physalia, which is commonly known as Portuguese man of war. You can see the upper portion pneumatophore, and that is a sail in which air gets filled, and that helps this animal in flotation. And these structures which are hanging down are the different zooids like gastrozoids, dactylozoids, gonozoids. So this is one of the hydrozoa, means actually hydrozoa is one class to which these two belong. Then you can see here Aurelia, Rhizostoma. These are two jellyfishes shown in the picture. The third one, that is Elentina, is a box jelly shown in this diagram. And Tubipora and Gorgonia, these are the types of corals which are found in marine water. So important point is that all these animals, they possess a specific kind of cell in their body, and such cells are called as cnidocytes, that is stinging cells. So because of presence of such specialized cells, these animals are put in a particular phylum which is known as Cnidaria, that is animals bearing cnidocytes. And as I told that Coelenterata is another name given to this phylum. Earlier it was more popular only because of presence of a central cavity in their body, and that cavity is a gastric cavity which helps in extracellular digestion. Let us see the general characteristics of these animals. Approximately 9,000 species of this phylum are reported, and a number of them have become extinct also. These animals are aquatic. You will not find a single specimen of it found on the terrestrial region. So they are aquatic, and these animals are mostly marine. As I told in the beginning, Hydra is one of the specimens that is found in fresh water. So very few are there which are found in fresh water. Majority are present in the marine conditions. Then they could be living their single life. They are solitary. Sorry, solitary means they live as a single one, or they could be colonial, means found in groups. They could be sedentary, that is fixed at a point, fixed at a place, or they could be free swimming. And then they show radial symmetry. Some of them also show biradial symmetry. So they are mainly circular in nature, and that is why radial symmetry could be seen in them. They are diploblastic. This is an important point to note, that two cell layers are there. The epidermis and endodermis is there, or gastrodermis is there. So ectoderm and endoderm, two germ layers are there which form the two layers of cells, and then in between you can see the presence of mesoglia, which is a cementing structure in between the external and internal cell layers. These animals show tissue grade of body organization. You might be knowing that there are animals which have uh, well developed organs like annelids, mollusks, arthropods. In their case, specific organs are there, and due to presence of such organs, they are known to have organ system grade of body organization. But coelenterates, for the first time, they show presence of tissues, means a large number of cells which are similar in function and structure. They form tissues, and this kind of organization is seen in case of coelenterates. In this diagram, you can see the longitudinal section of Hydra, just to make aware you people that how these cells are arranged here in two layers. This section is being shown. You can see this is the internal cavity, that is enteron or gastric cavity. So this is actually body cavity, and then you can see here the endodermal cells are there. These are uh, gastric in function. They can actually engulf food contents which enter into the this cavity, and then these cells help in digestion. Then there are nerve cells also and secretory cells present in this inner portion. The external cell layer is ectoderm, and here also goblet cells or secreting cells are present. This is the part of tentacle, and inside the tentacles you can see the stinging cells are shown. So the presence of stinging cells are here. These are cnidocytes, and these cells are used as organs of offense and defense. That is, they could be charged and could be used to penetrate into the uh, individuals or into those animals which approach such animals. So uh, and you can see here the gonads developing in the body portion. This is the part of testis where sperm forming cells are there. Likewise, here you can see the egg is present in the ovary. So these animals could be monoecious or dioecious, and accordingly, if the animals are dioecious, then you will find that male or female individuals will be separate, and testis and ovary will be growing separately in them. You can see a small bud here, so a new individual could be found from this portion. These coelenterates or cnidarians are acoelomate. They do not possess coelomic cavity in them. The cavity which is found between body wall and alimentary canal, which is actually formed by the splitting of mesoderm, that is absent in case of cnidarians. So these animals are acoelomate. Their body is marked with anterior and posterior end, just in the uh, previous diagram I showed here that this is mouth opening and the other end is totally closed. So this kind of situation you will find in them, that anal opening is totally absent. There is a single internal cavity which is coelenteron, and that is actually into that this mouth leads into this coelenteron. Polymorphic structure is present. You see in case of hydrozoans, you will find the presence of, like in case of Physalia, the gastrozoids, dactylozoids which possess stinging cells, and the gonozoids. Such structures fuse together and make an individual. So such kind of polymorphic structures where division of labor is there among the different kinds of organs could be seen. So these are actually separate individuals, and such separate individuals come together, so polymorphic structure exists in the hydrozoans. Then digestion, intracellular as well as extracellular, means the enteron or internal cavity is used for extracellular digestion, and the semi-digested contents or microscopic materials are taken by the inner cells and help in intracellular digestion. Respiratory structures are totally absent in these animals, and respiration occurs through general body surface. Likewise, the blood vascular system is absent in cnidarians, so specific circulatory structures like blood vessels, etc., are totally absent. Excretory organs are also absent, so ammonia, which is the main excretory material formed, that gets uh, very quickly diffused outside the cell. So cellular removal of waste material is there since such animals are present in aquatic medium. So ammonia formed gets diffused outside the cellular boundary. Nervous system is found in these animals, and that is of very primitive type that consists of diffused nerve cells. For the first time, highly branched nerve cells could be seen in cnidarians, and which help in sending impulses from one part of the body to the other. Then sting cells, as I said, are nematocytes. They are present in these animals, and that is why this name, uh, that is Cnidaria. And these structures are used as organs of defense and offense. The sensory structures could be seen in the form of ocelli, which are sparse photoreceptor cells present on certain parts of the body, and the balancing structure like statocyst may also be present in these animals. Then reproduction occurs asexually and sexually. That is, asexual reproduction occurs through budding or fission, and sexual reproduction occurs by the formation of gametes. See, the animals which show asexual reproduction, in their case, a small bud is formed at one part of the body that grows and becomes an independent individual. Then, in those cases where the sex organs develop, like testis and ovary develop in the same individual, they are hermaphrodite, they are called monoecious, and sometimes one may find a separate kind of medusae or separate kind of structures in which testis and ovary will be separately growing. Development occurs through larval stage, and the larval form is known as planula larva. In case of jellyfishes, Ephyra larva is found. So the coelenterate larval structures are called as planula. They are free swimming stage, and they grow into an individual. Metagenesis is seen in some forms, like in case of hydrozoans. The metagenesis is found. It means there is alternation of asexual and sexual form. That is the polyp form, that is that could be asexual form in them, and then there will be another structured medusa growing, and that gets liberated and forms gametes. So asexual and sexual phases could be seen in certain cnidarians, and that aspect is referred as metagenesis. If you classify these animals, they are classified into four separate classes. Class 1 is Hydrozoa, that includes Hydroids and siphonophores. See, these animals of Hydrozoa, they are marine as well as freshwater, solitary or colonial. Only polyps and medusae both may be present in these animals. The gonads are epidermal in origin. Sex cells are released outside the body. So external release of sex cells or gametes will be there. For example, Hydra, it is a freshwater animal, and we know that this has a very high power of regeneration. If you cut it into certain pieces, then all such pieces grow into an individual. Then Obelia is a marine Coelenterate, Physalia, that is Portuguese man of war, Porpita. So these are the hydrozoan coelenterates. Then the class 2 is Scyphozoa, that comprises swimming jellyfishes, or you can say jellyfishes. These are exclusively marine animals, and they are solitary. They live independently. Uh, they are actually free swimming. They are solitary, and they are actually free swimming. These animals are they are in medusoid form. So Medusa stage is dominant, Polyp stage is reduced or it is totally absent. Gonads are gastrodermal, and the sex cells are released in the internal cavity. Examples are jellyfishes like Aurelia and Rhizostoma. In these two diagrams you can see this one is Aurelia, this is Rhizostoma. These are jellyfishes. Class 3 is Anthozoa, that includes corals and sea anemones. These are also marine animals. They are solitary and they could be colonial also. All polyp forms are found in them. Medusae stage is Medusa are absent in their in their life, and these are actually corals. Gonads are gastrodermal. The tubipora, which is commonly known as organ pipe coral, L. that is dead man's finger, then Gorgonia, sea fan, or Pinatula, that is sea pen. These are some of the commonly known corals which belong to Anthozoa. And you see here, this is organ pipe coral. So these are long vertical um, calcium carbonate structures. Inside such structures, the polyps are individually present. This one is a Gorgonia. Its only skeletal remains are shown here. So the fourth one, class 4, is Cubozoa, that comprises box jellyfishes. These are also marine animals. They are solitary and they have box-shaped medusa, that is square in cross section. If you cut the section of this main body, then a square shaped structure could be seen. These are quite similar to Scyphozoa in many features, and example wise you can see Charybdia, that is venomous box jelly, and Elentina, that is sea wasp. These two animals are very common box jellies, and they could be seen in Indian marine conditions, Indian Sea. So these are some of the important aspects regarding cnidarians.